Welcome to the Ad Expert Podcast. Today, we are doing a deep dive into something absolutely fundamental for, well, anyone spending money on digital ads. We're talking about maximizing your ROI and specifically how to make sure your paid advertising spend is perfectly lined up with where a potential customer actually is in their journey towards buying something. Getting this sync right, it's the difference between just throwing money out there hoping something sticks and running a really targeted, effective campaign. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today really is to give you a clear roadmap. How do you synchronize that sales funnel step by step with your ad campaigns? The goal. Drive better quality traffic, definitely boost those conversion rates, and crucially, deliver the right message at the right time. And look, this isn't just theory. This strategy comes straight from Ad Expert. They're focused on online marketing, web development, based out of LA, and they've got, over a decade of experience dealing with tough local and e-commerce clients, especially in that super competitive Los Angeles market.
Exactly. And we all basically know what a sales funnel is, right?
Yeah.
You, listening, you know it's those steps someone takes from, who are these guys, to, okay, take my money. But the real gold here isn't just defining the funnel again. It's about seeing where the disconnects happen. Where your ad dollars kind of fall through the cracks between those stages. If we want that precision the host mentioned, we need to start with the full picture. And the framework from Ad Expert, our source material here, it actually identifies 5 distinct stages,
Right.
5 steps that people move through. Awareness, then interest, consideration, intent, and finally, purchase.
5 stages. Okay.
Yeah, and that level of detail matters because, well, what you say in your ad, how much you spend.
Yeah.
It has to change pretty dramatically across those steps.
That makes sense. 5 stages is more granular than the usual, top, middle, bottom. People often lump them together. So how do we map those 5 detailed steps onto the, let's say, 3 practical advertising segments that you actually build campaigns around? Top, middle, bottom.
Right, that mapping is key. And it's pretty straightforward in the Ad Expert approach. The top of the funnel, that's purely the awareness stage, easy enough. And the bottom of the funnel, that's purely the purchase stage, also clear.
Okay.
So everything else, interest, consideration, and intent, all 3 of those get grouped together into the middle of the funnel.
Oh, okay. So interest, consideration, intent, all middle. That simplifies things from an advertising perspective.
It does, because
Yeah.
that middle chunk, that's where most of the sort of nurturing happens, where people are comparing options, looking for solutions, really digging in, understanding that you serve all 3 of those stages with the cohesive middle funnel strategy.
Yeah.
That clarifies things a lot.
Right. That provides real clarity for campaign structure. Okay, so let's get operational then. This is where the rubber meets the road, allocating the budget, crafting the ads. What does a full funnel strategy look like when we map it to these 3 segments? Top, middle, bottom.
So starting at the top of the funnel, which we said is awareness. The goal here is super simple. Introduction, brand visibility. You're not selling yet, not really. You're just letting people know you exist and maybe offering some initial value. Tactics here. Think broad reach, display ads, maybe video content like YouTube pre-roll, or even really good engaging content marketing pieces that aren't pushing a sale.
Got it. Broad reach, low pressure. But what about the budget? I think this is where people often get tripped up. If the goal is just awareness, do you spend less here or more? How do you keep feeding that funnel consistently?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And the data here can seem a bit counterintuitive. You'd think you spend most where the sales happen, right? Yeah. At the bottom.
Right.
But the insight from Ad Expert, based on their experience, is that you often shouldn't put more than, say, 15, maybe 20% of your total ad budget at the bottom, at that purchase stage.
Really? Only 15-20% at the point of sale. Why so low?
Because if you starve the top and middle of the funnel, if you stop bringing new people in and nurturing them eventually, you just run out of qualified leads to convert at the bottom. It dries up. So the majority is your budget, paradoxically perhaps, needs to sustain that awareness stage and that big middle funnel chunk we talked about.
Yeah.
You have to keep filling the pipeline.
Okay. That makes a lot of analytical sense when you put it like that. Build a sustainable pipeline. Don't just focus on the final step.
Right. So moving down, we hit the middle of the funnel. This covers interest, consideration, intent. The audience knows they have a problem now, and they're actively looking for solutions. What's the shift here? Ad copy, targeting.
The whole message shifts. It goes from, hey, we exist, to, hey, we have the solution to that specific problem you're researching. This is prime territory for things like precise PPC search ads.
Because they're literally typing their pain point into Google. Exactly. You're meeting your active search.
Yeah.
And it's also where lead nurturing really kicks in. Maybe through email marketing campaigns that were triggered by an earlier ad click. You're offering more detailed info like feature breakdowns, maybe comparisons, demonstrating why your solution is the best fit.
Okay, providing the information they need to evaluate makes sense. Now, let's say they're getting closer, they've done the research, they're showing intent. Maybe they've added something to a cart but haven't checked out.
Yeah.
We move to the bottom of the funnel purchase. This is often where remarketing comes in, right?
Yes, remarketing is a key tactic here.
But isn't there a risk there? You mentioned precision earlier. How do we make sure we're not just, endlessly chasing people who visited the site once, maybe accidentally, or just annoying people who aren't going to buy anyway?
Yeah.
How do you avoid burning money or creating brand fatigue?
That's a really critical point, and it goes right back to that alignment idea.
Mm-hmm.
The difference isn't just using remarketing, it's how you use it. It's about the frequency, yes, but more importantly, it's about the offer and the timing. The ad expert material is clear on this. Bottom funnel ads need to build urgency and trust at the same time. You're not just showing them the same product image they already saw.
Right.
You're perhaps showing them a limited time discount on that specific product, or maybe a risk-free trial. Or you could point them to a really powerful case study, someone just like them who solved the exact same problem using your product or service. It's about targeting intent signals, not just past exposure.
Targeting intent, not just exposure. I like that. So the ad message gets much sharper, much more direct. Okay, so if the ad is the invitation, the landing page they click through to, that's the party, and they absolutely have to match, right?
Oh, 100%.
We've talked about aligning the ad strategy to the funnel stage, but the whole thing falls apart if they click a super targeted ad and land on, your generic homepage.
Absolutely. Probably the biggest missed opportunity or biggest point of failure in many campaigns. So the next layer here is optimizing all the pieces around the ad itself. And the first step, which honestly has to happen before you even think about launching a campaign, is identifying your buyer personas in detail.
Okay, buyer personas, we hear about them all the time. Why are they so critical for this funnel alignment specifically, beyond just general good marketing practice?
Because aligning the funnel means choosing the right channel. Where does this specific person hang out online? And crafting ad copy that speaks directly to their specific goal or pain point at that stage. Think about it. Someone at the awareness stage, their goal is just learning. Someone at the intent stage, maybe their goal is comparing price or finding social proof. If you haven't defined those personas deeply, you can't tailor the message effectively. You can't match the ad to the funnel stage properly.
So you end up with generic messages that don't quite hit the mark for anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't efficiently place your budget or your creative if you don't know who you're talking to and what they need at that specific moment. Getting personas right leads to much, much better engagement.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so actionable step 1. Nail down those personas. Step 2 then. You mentioned the landing page. Optimizing landing pages for the funnel stage. I remember clicking an ad once, bottom of funnel, specific discount promised, and I landed on this general blog post about industry trends.
Ugh, yeah, that's the worst.
Total disconnect. I bounced immediately, felt like a bait and switch.
And that friction, it kills conversions. It wastes that click you just paid for, maybe expensively.
And
The landing page must mirror the user's intent and the promise of the ad. It's non-negotiable for efficiency. So for the awareness stage, remember, they just want info. The landing page should offer pure value. A helpful guide, maybe an interesting infographic, a newsletter, sign up for more tips. Importantly, you should probably avoid pushing pricing or hard sells here. That creates friction too early.
Okay, value first, no pressure. What about the middle, consideration and intent stages?
Middle funnel pages. They need substance, hard data.
Mm.
Think feature comparison charts, detailed spec sheets, maybe those customer testimonials we mentioned, or even better, unsolicited reviews if you have them. They're in research mode. Give them research material.
Got it. Give them the proof points.
Yeah.
And then finally, the conversion stage landing pages. Bottom of the funnel.
Those need to be laser focused. Strong, clear calls to action, buy now, get your discount, start free trial, limited time offers to create that urgency. And often, simplifying the process is key here too. Fewer form fields, maybe express checkout options, make it easy for them to make that final decision right then and there.
That level of precision, making sure the ad promise perfectly matches a landing page experience for each stage. That feels like where you really maximize every single dollar spent on traffic.
Exactly.
But doing that consistently, continuously refining, that requires pretty sophisticated tracking and analysis, doesn't it? Which brings us nicely to the operational reality. You have to track, measure, and adjust. constantly.
Precisely. You can't just set and forget this stuff. Once those campaigns are live across the different funnel segments, tracking is absolutely crucial. You need data to make informed decisions, not guesses. And we're not talking vanity metrics like just counting clicks overall. The key metrics you track need to be specific to the funnel stage you're optimizing.
Right. So what are we looking at?
At the top, in awareness, you might prioritize things like engagement rates on your content, or just reach and impressions are you getting seen by the right volume of potential customers. In the middle, where they're considering options, you'd focus more on, say, cost per lead, CPL, if you're gating content, or click-through rates, CTR, on those specific solution-focused search ads. Are people actually clicking through when they show intent?
Okay.
And then at the bottom, the purchase stage, it's all about the money metrics. Cost per conversion, cost per acquisition, CPA, and ultimately return on ad spend, ROAS. Is the money you're spending turning into actual revenue efficiently?
That ability to segment your metrics and track them in real time,
Yeah.
that really does feel like the difference between just doing marketing and doing high precision, high ROI marketing.
Yeah.
Especially, as you mentioned, in really tough markets like Los Angeles or competitive e-commerce niches where every little efficiency counts. So let's look briefly at the source of this strategy, Ad Expert. How do they actually manage this kind of complex real-time feedback loop in practice? What makes their approach effective?
Well, their whole operational structure seems built around this idea of continuous optimization because they often work in those demanding environments like LA. They have to rely on pretty advanced tools and processes. For instance, they use AI quite significantly. It's mentioned as a cornerstone for them, leveraging it for things like more sophisticated customer targeting, creating more personalized marketing campaigns that go beyond basic demographics, and using AI tools for ongoing optimization.
Okay, so AI is a big part of it. What about tracking and reporting?
That's another key piece. They provide live tracking and reporting that pulls data from all the different channels together. Paid ads, social media, email, website behavior, everything. This gives their clients and their own team real-time insights.
So they can actually see what's working and what's not across the entire funnel, basically as it happens.
Exactly. Which allows them to make those adjustments. We talked about tweaking ad copy, shifting budget between stages, optimizing landing pages right when it matters most, not weeks later. This whole infrastructure lets them implement the kind of precise funnel alignment we've been discussing. And they combine that tech with deep analysis using the client's own past performance data, but also doing aggressive competitor analysis to see what's working out there in the market. It all feeds back into the strategy.
That makes sense. That combination of strategy, technology, real-time data, and market awareness, that's what allows them to actually execute this kind of sophisticated, multi-stage campaign alignment effectively. Right. Well, that brings us towards the end of our deep dive today. We kick things off by really defining the difference between those 5 customer journey stages: awareness, interest, consideration, intent, purchase, and the 3 practical advertising segments: top, middle, and bottom funnel. Then we mapped specific ad tactics to those segments, from broad display and video at the top
Right, for awareness.
to targeted search and email in the middle.
For consideration and nurturing.
And finally, sharp remarketing and specific offers at the bottom for conversion. And we hit that crucial point about budget allocation needing to fuel the top and middle, not just the bottom.
Absolutely key.
And then we covered the vital supporting elements: the need for really detailed buyer personas driving the strategy and ensuring your landing pages are perfectly optimized to match the user's intent at their specific stage in the funnel. No disconnects.
Get those pieces aligned, and the whole system just works so much better.
Yeah. The big takeaway seems to be, know your funnel stages. Align your ads and your landing pages meticulously to those stages and track everything so you can keep optimizing. That's how you guide prospects effectively and really boost those conversion rates.
It really is about that strategic connection, connecting the ad message, the landing page experience, and the user's funnel stage. When you do that deliberately, your marketing just becomes exponentially more efficient, more impactful. And, this brings up an interesting question, maybe something for you listening to think about with your own campaigns. If this alignment message, page, stage, is so critical for maximizing ROI, what hidden costs might you be incurring right now? Like, are you sending that expensive top-of-funnel traffic, people who are just looking for basic information, straight to a hard-sell, conversion-focused landing page, a page that's demanding a purchase way too early? If so, what's the real cost of that mismatch? Something to maybe mull over as you plan or optimize your next campaign.